Hey traders, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. Today is Wednesday, October 28th. It's Rod with Powell Group. Thanks again for joining us for another daily market recap. And in today's video, we're going to discuss the global stock sell-off that we have on our hands, some new lockdown restrictions, and we'll go over some news and events and some charting on the indices and some individual stock tickers. So just before we jump into the content, make sure to hit the like, show me some support. I would appreciate that very much. And consider subscribing to the channel. So we have quite a few things to go over in terms of news and events, so I'll cruise through these. So we did see that Biden's polling lead adds to market fears. The economy will need to wait until after next year for more stimulus. And we also saw that a lot of people were, I don't think that it's necessarily true. I think it's just headlines making it seem like people were caught off guard. But if you were caught off guard by this, then I don't know what to tell you. The cases have been ramping up. We saw that Europe was in a second wave and just so many reasons to have seen this coming. And if you were surprised by this, then I would strongly encourage that you rethink what your game plan was, and you were probably getting complacent. So let me know in the comments below if you were surprised by this move down. I certainly wasn't. I was prepared for this. And I had been warning about this for multiple days and weeks at this point. We also saw that French President Emmanuel Macron imposes new nationwide lockdown as cases surge there as well. We did see that there was a couple articles about the top in this enormous bubble being set, so I found that notable as well. We had earnings that I wanted to bring up. So we saw yesterday, or before the market opened, Boeing lost $1.39 per share, smaller than the loss of $2.52 anticipated by Wall Street. Revenue was also above estimates. So they're targeting a workforce of 130,000 by the end of 2021, which is about 11,000 lower. GE reported a third quarter profit of 6 cents per share. It's pretty much all I wanted to mention. UPS reported earnings per share of $2.28, estimate of 1.90, so a huge beat there. Revenue was above estimates as well. Today, after the bell, we have some earnings as well. Not as notable today. It's more so tomorrow before the market open and close. So we have Shopify, Moderna, Spotify, Twitter, Amazon, Facebook, all tomorrow after the bell, and Apple as well. So that'll be a huge one. Today we have Fastly, Pinterest, Etsy, Gilead, Visa, and eBay is the most notable. So we'll continue to monitor those, and we'll see. I don't expect much of a reaction to that in terms of the tech sector. That'll be primarily based on tomorrow's earnings. And just a quick thing I wanted to highlight here as well. We did see that Chicago to reinstate indoor dining restrictions, similar to Ontario, and tech CEOs were testifying today in front of Congress, in front of the Senate Commerce Committee, and they're expected to argue against repealing Section 230, which basically protects social media networks from liability for their users. So we haven't really seen any update from that, so we'll continue to monitor that. Microsoft reported strong earnings, but falls on weak revenue forecasts. So if you were curious as to why the reaction was negative, there you have it. We also saw some economic data come in. So we saw some lockdown restrictions being imposed, and we saw that the oil inventory rose to 4.3 million. So we had a huge sell-off in the market and commodities as well. Gold wasn't spared either. The European stocks tumbled to 5-month low, and US futures slide as well. We also saw that Boeing is going to cut 7,000 more jobs in jet market's grim new reality. We also saw that Charles Schwab was merging with TD Ameritrade, and they're planning to lay off another 1,000 workers. So very common theme, a lot of mergers happening and a lot of layoffs happening. So very, very negative in my opinion for the market. So jumping over to some indice review. So we'll take a look at SPY and QQQ. We do have daily EMA bear crosses forming on SPY and QQQ. You can see at the end of the day, we had a very, very bearish candle today on SPY. We're well outside of the daily Bollinger Band. The daily volume is very notable as well on the sell side. And we are lining up for an EMA bear cross here on EMA 12 and 26. So it's going to be an interesting overnight session and into tomorrow, QQQ as well, potentially looking for a bear cross of those EMAs into tomorrow and overnight. And like I said, we have increasing bear volume on QQQ as well, and a very bearish candle there on the daily. Now taking a look at the hourly chart on SPY and QQQ. So we do have hourly bear flags that look to be confirming into the end of the day on QQQ and SPY. So that's what I was watching for most of the day. We also had huge sell volume there on the hourly into the end of the day on QQQ and SPY. So that was notable. Let's take a look at DXY. So DXY we were looking at the dollar to potentially set a bear flag potential, and it looks like that was negated. So we were looking at a possibility of a daily bear flag. I said in my video yesterday, if we could get over the EMA 12, then that would negate it. And we got well above that. So in my opinion, the bear flag has been negated, and we have yet to set a daily higher low. So we still are technically flat on the trend right now. We're not in a downtrend. Actually, we are in a downtrend. We had a low, a high, lower low. So we are in a daily downtrend, but bulls have a lot of space to form a potential higher low here and higher high to change the daily trend on the dollar. Next, we'll take a look at gold. So gold wasn't spared today as well, likely due to the lack of stimulus and possibility of that not happening until the new year. But you can see that we're still in this descending triangle, and we could potentially see a break this week, but we could, in theory, go sideways in this pattern for another 2 to 3 weeks. Again, we have about a week until the election. So this could line up well, and a measured move would bring us down here to about the 1670 range on gold. So keeping an eye on that as well. QQQ into the end of the day, I was watching, we had a potential inverse head and shoulders forming on the 15-minute, and bulls failed. So we had this left shoulder, head, right shoulder, tried to break it and failed, and then closed at a new low and the low of the day. So that was very bearish. We were also looking at the RSI was in this channel, in this pennant here. We broke above, a bit of a fake out, and then ultimately closed lower and broke that RSI support line that we had been respecting for most of the day. Taking a look at SPXS and SQQQ. So we saw huge days in SPXS and SQQQ up over 10%. SPXS up about 10%. We are in daily uptrends on these two names. So you can see here we had a daily higher low, which was formed at 517. So that's the most important support on the daily. We do have a gap in the charts as well from the huge gap down on in stocks today. So we'll look to potentially set another daily, once this move tops out, we'll look for a daily higher low. Bulls got lots of room to form that daily higher low. And you can see SQQQ, we have an uptrend here as well to be watching. And could potentially see a top out right here from the previous support, which could act as resistance around the $25 mark on SQQQ. Taking a look at VIX. So VIX saw a huge day today as well. The VIX up over 20%. So we did have this falling wedge that broke bullish. We back tested it and then blasted off in a huge way. Very, very bullish candle, closed near the high of the day, and bulls in full control of the volatility index going into tomorrow. And again, we haven't formed a daily higher low since back here on the back test, which is 27.26. So lots of room for bulls to potentially set another daily higher low. Taking a look at the weekly chart on the VIX. So we are now in a weekly uptrend with a high, higher low, and higher high. So we are in a weekly uptrend. That was notable. US oil, we'll just take a quick peek through the overall indices. So oil, very bearish day today. We have a daily downtrend confirmed on oil. Let's take a look at IWM. IWM closed near the low of the day. We don't have any support here until 148.99, which we could easily drop another 2 to 3%. SMH, the semiconductors, very bearish candle as well, increasing bear volume. We do have daily support here at 173.08. So keep an eye on that level as well, closer to support. And we've had a lower high every single candle now for 8 candles. So when we do bounce, we'll just expect a daily lower high once that does occur. SPY, like I said, very bearish, increasing bear volume. QQQ, very bearish, no daily support until the 261 level. And like I said, oil, very bearish. Gold, very bearish as well. XBI, the biotech sector, did end with a little bit of a lower wick, and we did form a daily lower high and lower low. Lower high and lower low. So we did confirm a daily downtrend, and we could be setting another daily lower high. And we did hold that basically bulls bought the dip. So we had a low of 113.84, and today we hit a low of 113.45. So we did have a bear break there, but not much follow through. So we'll look to the weekly. We could potentially see a weekly bull flag, but in my opinion, I don't think that will be the case. Certainly standing up better, holding up better than most. XLE, the energy sector, closed near the low of the day on increasing bear volume as well. XLF, the financial sector, again, increasing bear volume, and we don't have any support down here until the 2294 level. XLRE, the real estate ETF, again, we didn't break the low here, so we do have support, closer to support. We have 3374 as the most important support on the real estate ETF. XLV, the healthcare sector, common theme, increasing bear volume, very bearish candle. We have support down here at 177 cents. It's pretty much all I had for you guys in terms of the global indices. So taking a look at Microsoft and Amazon, I wanted to highlight this for you folks. We have a very bearish formation on Amazon. You can see that we're forming a weekly head and shoulders potential, and SPY basically set a double top, and we could be seeing some significant pullback, and we could also look to set a weekly downtrend. If we confirm this, if we break the low here of 319, that will confirm a weekly downtrend, which hasn't happened for quite some time. And like I said, we could be potentially setting this double top. We came very close. We had a high of 358. We had a high here of 354. And if this is a double top that a lot of people were watching a cup and handle, that's been negated. And we could be potentially looking at that double top with some follow through. And that would line up well with the Amazon head and shoulders. We also have Microsoft with a negative reaction to their earnings, could also be a weekly head and shoulders as well. So if we were to confirm this head and shoulders, we could look down to the 160s, 170 as a targeted move on that. And just taking a look at Amazon on the weekly, if we were to confirm a head and shoulders on the weekly, we could look down here to previous support down at 2200. Now, again, I'm not saying that that is 100% guaranteed, but definitely a couple of patterns that I'm watching out for right now. And most important for me is these two charts and gold. And we'll see if gold has any bear break out of that weekly descending triangle as well. But right now, we could potentially be lining up for a 1 to 2 weeks out of this bear break of this head and shoulders. If we break this neckline, that may line up well with the gold chart as well, breaking out of the descending triangle. So definitely something I'm keeping an eye on. That's pretty much all I had for you guys today. If you were caught off guard today, don't sweat it. I mean, it happens, but we got to make sure that you're not getting complacent. I see so many people a lot of people, I had a couple people in the group today, see a lot of people online, just basically stepping away from the computer. They didn't want to watch a lot of blood. It was very bloody out there. So they just basically said they were going to step away, and that's fine to take a lap, but you need to develop a plan. And if you didn't have a plan, then this should be a learning opportunity for you for the next time to not get complacent. And like I said, I've been calling this out. I've been sending warnings left, right, and center. So hopefully on the next market and I wouldn't even consider this a real market sell-off yet. Things could always go lower, and we could always see another leg down. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you develop a plan, and let me know in the comments below if you need any help. I'd love to hear from you. And like I said, we run an online investment community, so you can check out powgroup.ca. Join us for a 1-week free trial, and no credit card required. And you can sign up, and basically the more we have looking at the market, the more eyes we have on it, the better. So again, thanks for joining us for another daily market recap on the pursuit of wealth, and we'll see you tomorrow for another daily market recap. Take care, everyone.